Welcome back to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and it's sheer madness right now, trying to keep up with all of this Starfield news. Twitter is on fire, so is Reddit. Clips are popping up left and right, insane ship designs everywhere, and believe me, I'm taking notes. But today we're talking all about the insane launch of Starfield. We've got stats, lots of them, reviews, player counts, Phil Spencer touting Starfield, and I wanted to sprinkle in some of your zany clips as well. I also wanted to take a look at a wild IGN article about PlayStation owners and Starfield, how the game is performing on handhelds, some more interesting tips and tricks, and stick around for that because I don't even know where to start on all that. Plus, yeah, there's even more. We got a recent Bloomberg technology interview with Todd Howard and Phil Spencer, and one quote in particular is catching some flack. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit concerned on how you guys would respond to yesterday's Starfield secret tips and tricks style video, but the response has been overwhelming, and I plan on uploading more of that style of video in the future. In case you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. As usual, expect to find chapters available for an easy viewing experience. We've got a ton to cover in this one, so let's get started. Starting this one off is this absolutely wild clip posted over on Reddit from AQTBGL_daddy issues with a title of, "So, that's why I couldn't fast travel," and just check this out. Now, I've never seen anything like this happen to me in my playthrough, and I'm about 80 hours in at this point, but a full-sized Ankylosaurus has made it into the cockpit of their spacecraft, preventing them from fast traveling because the game thinks they're still in combat. This is why we play and love Bethesda games. As Pete Hines said in one of his previous interviews, we embrace the chaos. Okay, now into the big numbers being posted by Starfield, starting off with Steam. And this one was truly interesting, as the previous player count record was sitting at 248,000 on September the 4th. So, during early access to anyone who paid that extra cheddar to get in early, and then the first night of the official launch, that player count record was rewritten up to 269,000 on September the 6th. So that total was only raised by some, 21,000 players? But again, this is limited to just Steam, and we're talking about a game that launched kind of late on a Wednesday evening. So I am expecting that record to fall again, of course, over the weekend. Are we talking into the 400,000s, say Saturday night? Let me know in the comment section below. We've also seen some Xbox-specific items being displayed for Starfield, as this tweet from Benji Sales showcases Starfield instantly jumps to the #1 most popular game on Game Pass, surpassing, listen to this, GTA 5 and Minecraft. And those are two monumentally hard-hitting games for player counts, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to see something like that at all. There was also a very recent Bloomberg tech interview, which I will touch on a bit more towards the end of this video, but during that broadcast, Phil Spencer announced that Starfield is already the most played next-gen Xbox exclusive and most wishlisted Xbox and Bethesda game ever on Steam, a headline echoed by this corresponding Xbox-era article. On a quick side note, look at this side-by-side featuring Phil Spencer during the interview along with Microsoft's stock prices graph showing a pretty sizable upward swing leading into Wednesday's Starfield launch. Spencer also launched this one into orbit yesterday. Starfield exceeded 1 million concurrent players across all platforms today. Thanks to all the players who helped us reach this great milestone, and congrats to Bethesda Studios. And it kind of shows off all of these critic review scores for Starfield, along with a few quotes as well. Now on Steam, Starfield is sitting at a very positive review rating with over 24,500 reviews. And oh, by the way, hot off the press, as I was scripting and recording this video, we just got this tweet from the official Starfield game Twitter account. As of this morning, Starfield has already surpassed 6 million players, making it the biggest Bethesda game launch of all time. So overall, big stats all over the place, and already shattering the previous Play Tracker post I showed with 1 million concurrent player counts. Although, me being me, I would love to see a breakdown of those 6 million players. I don't know, maybe in the future. Switching gears, and I ran into this tweet from Game Pass Tracker that sparked my interest. We here at Game Pass Tracker have noticed a trend of certain corporate-sized video game journalism companies having a clear and chronic bias against Microsoft Gaming and Xbox. This is a difficult topic to cover, but due to the sheer amount of times it has occurred, can now be approached with objectivity. And then it kind of continues on with what looks like some sort of expectations for an upcoming article. Now, I have no idea what this account is. It looks to be a general Xbox Game Pass reporting account. And if they post something worthwhile in the future, expect a follow-up report here on the channel. I still don't understand all of this bias. You've got console wars, exclusivity anger. I mean, I play on PC, so many times I'm left out on the cold when it comes to playing first-party releases. I've owned both PlayStations and Xboxes in the past. They both performed well, and let's leave it at that. But before we move over to our next Starfield topic, we need to first talk Halo. And I know this is a bit out there for a Starfield video and kind of an awkward transition, but the single reason I owned an Xbox was to play Halo. And we got this awesome Starfield-inspired Halo tribute to the game over on Twitter today, and I just thought it was very well done, so enjoy. Also, am I the only one that kind of feels like the Xbox torch has been passed from Halo over to Starfield? Let me know in the comments on this one. Back to some more wild clips from Starfield, and this one's just beyond description.
You are a sight for sore eyes.
Easily defeated.
Before spacers broke into the outpost, I was relaying. Taurus ain't bad as far as COs go.
Enemy activity in the area has ceased.
I mean, I can probably guess what happened here, but the caption says it all. Vasco. WTF, man. I'm just glad he didn't kill Private Mahoney then and there, which would have ended that quest before it started. The next bit of Starfield news has to do with playing Starfield on handhelds, and I reported on this several times in the past, but we have a very recent Ars Technica article that gives us a clearer picture. Yes, you can play Starfield on Steam Deck, but really, you shouldn't. When it comes to handheld AAA spacefaring, you should ground your expectations. And this went about as expected. Steam Deck, requiring a user to launch through Proton Experimental, saw subpar visuals and terrible battery life even on low settings. ROG Ally did fare much better, running at a native 720p with a few adjustments, but required the use of the Turbo 25-watt mode, chewing through battery and pretty much tethering a user to a plug and charger cord. Now, even though Starfield is rated as playable on Steam, it is not verified. And the recommendation is again made to make use of streaming services such as Game Pass or locally with Moonlight or Xbox Remote Play. Time for another Reddit clip, and this is actually a screenshot taken by NoobGuy3. Hopefully I said that one correctly. And you see this incredible mess of objects just thrown all over the place within this spaceship with this title, "It's my first Bethesda game." Of course, alluding to the fact that in this game you can literally pick up and loot everything, but the chaos of how it's just strewn about makes the pick that much more epic. And Reddit has overwhelmingly responded to this one with over 5,300 upvotes. And now on to a bit of the bizarre, and this IGN article titled "Starfield Players Are Really Trying to Pretend It's on PlayStation," and this one has some Twitter artwork attached to it showing off a Starfield-themed PS5 and controller. Now IGN goes on to report about players using DualSense controllers to play the game on PC, which if I did use a controller on PC, I would totally do. also creating custom limited edition Starfield PS5s, and even modding in the PlayStation Studios intro. Again, this feels like a non-issue being made into an issue, but there is currently a mod over on Nexus Mod, so you can add in this PlayStation Studios intro into your PC game. Now on to something really cool, and Solus of the Thorns posted this clip to Reddit showing off a wild-looking ship design that makes use of the enemy spacecraft lock-on and tracking mechanics to his advantage. Listen to this. While puttering around space and fighting some pirates, I started questioning enemy AI. How do NPC ships target the player? Do they lead the player? Do they aim right at them? Where do they aim? Wouldn't it be funny if they aimed at center mass? My first meme ship was a giant hollow rectangle. I didn't expect it to work and laughed my ass off when it did. So I went further, an L-shaped ship. It worked even better. So your ship has a midpoint. This is calculated by taking the distance, the furthest 2 points on the X, Y, and Z axis, and finding where they intersect. For most ships, this will be approximately the middle of the ship. But if you create an asymmetrical abomination like the above, it's not. The fat L has a midpoint that's above and to the left of the ship. The fat L has an offset midpoint that is actually not within the ship, but in space. Fun fact, enemy weapons and missile targets this midpoint, which means when you're facing towards them, they can't hit you. Oh, I am totally going to make a catamaran-style ship just to try this mechanic out. TLDR here is that the game uses the midpoint between the farthest outside points, and that's what the enemies aim for. By placing the ship on one extreme side and then using these structural pieces to kind of extend the width of the ship, this design fools the enemies into essentially aiming off-center and completely missing. Great detective work here by Solus of the Thorns. I'll leave a link to this one in the video description in case you want to check it out for yourselves. And let's wrap this one up with this Bloomberg Tech Live interview with Todd Howard and Phil Spencer, and the host of Bloomberg really went in hard on this one, asking some very direct questions. One in particular is garnering a lot of attention around the Starfield community.
I asked our audience, what would you ask Todd? Big question from many. Why did you not optimize this game for PC?
We did. It's running great. It is a next-gen PC game. We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game, but it's got a lot of great stuff going on in it, and the fans are responding awesome.
Okay, that wasn't the most elegant response I've ever seen from Todd Howard. I mean, I have a pretty stout PC setup, and I can tell you that there are areas of Starfield that are just poorly optimized. No matter what you do, no matter how many settings you fiddle with, they're just subpar. So, again, not the best of Todd Howard on display for this one. Also noteworthy is how Phil Spencer kind of laughs out loud when Howard gets these questions. Almost like he knew they were coming and I told you so. Further into this interview, Phil Spencer is asked about Elder Scrolls 6 being Xbox exclusive, to which he doesn't really answer. He does answer a Game Pass related question, and then Todd Howard is again drilled about Starfield not having vehicles, probably for the 1,000,000th time, and he answers about the use of the jetpack. Now, besides a modder stepping in and making it happen, maybe it's just time for Bethesda to dive in and add in some damn planet-side vehicles. I mean, we all seem to want it, right? Okay, so a huge range of Starfield topics up for display in this one, and I will also include a link to the Bloomberg interview in case you want to view that one. Check in the video description. It's about 6 minutes long. Leave me a comment about anything Starfield related, and by the way, thanks for all your extra tips on yesterday's 15 secret tips and tricks video. In case you haven't yet done so, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description. Shout out to the now over 151,000 of you that have stuck with me, and a special thanks goes out to my patrons and to those of you sending over those awesome YouTube super chats. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.